ladies and gentlemen, to It Came From Netflix here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, we're going to be closing out It Came From Netflix by covering a movie that not only have I wanted to watch it for a few years, but you guys have been heavily requesting it lately, so this should prove to be interesting for all parties involved. It is a Japanese horror movie from 1999 called Audition. I'm going to tell you why where I got my interest in checking out this movie. A couple of years ago, probably about 5-6 years back, Bravo, and that is the U.S. cable channel Bravo, not the British television station Bravo. I just want to clarify that for those watching. Was doing a countdown of, it was either the 50 or the 100 most disturbing scenes in horror movies. And a lot of them were like really tame shit, and some of them were ones that kind of make your fucking, like, skin crawl. And then somewhere, I believe it was somewhere in like the teens or the tens in this countdown, was Audition. And the scene kind of caught my interest a little bit, and it is thanks to that I have always wanted to watch this, but for one reason or another, I never had a chance to fucking watch it. Well, now I'm going to get my chance. And now I get to see if this movie is any good. And I'm really hoping that it is, because I've only seen one other movie from the director of this film, and that one also was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was at least watchable. So, I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be a bit of an upswing from that. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Audition. So this guy's going to get remarried simply because his son told him he looked sad at the dinner table. I'm sorry, guys, that honestly is kind of a stupid reason to want to get, like, remarried. Just saying, to me, seems kind of a stupid motivation to me. You know, folks, normally when I think of a horror movie, I like to think of movies that are trying to build tension. I don't think of movies which have a wacky montage sequence this far in. But yet, that is exactly where this movie's going, and honestly, I seriously am not pissed, I'm just kind of surprised. It certainly makes this a little bit more interesting and fresh. You know, guys, this guy has the wussiest throw I have ever seen in any movie ever. He seriously looks like he is having a hard time throwing golf balls overhand. Process that for just a minute. Just that no human beings ever have a problem pitching golf balls. But alright, I know, it's just me like nitpicking, but damn it, it's kind of bothering me a little bit. Wow, yeah, that isn't the most irritating ring in the history of telephones. Shit, no. That is, like, that seriously is, like, the shrillest ring I've ever heard on any goddamn phone. Wow, that's irritating. Well, guys, I never really thought I would see a movie where it has a scene which is both incredibly creepy and still in its own way very, like, romantic in its own twisted sort of way. This movie's able to hit both of those in one scene. I am rather impressed. Okay, now that was totally fucked up and cruelly shit. Oh my God. Okay, guys, you know what now? Like, this whole scene is, like, nasty as shit, but I do have to give her credit. She was able to puke into a dog food bowl, and she didn't get any of it on her, you know, clothing. That fucking takes talent. And this creature that's missing the ear, the fingers, and the tongue now eating said vomit. That's... oh, God. Okay, guys, I think it's time I kind of made a little bit of a confession to all of you. I have this thing about needles. I don't like them. The past, like, minute or two, this is... oh my God, I am just doing nothing but cringing, and it's beginning to turn my stomach a little bit. Wow. Wow. Well, guys, that was Audition. Wow, that ending was kind of... What the fuck, kind of? That ending was a huge fucking downer. Okay, let's shut the movie off. Now it's time to discuss what I just watched. Well, first of all, I would like to say, almost everybody who requested this movie were really playing it up as this absolutely nasty, disturbing, horrible thing. I was kind of expecting something along the lines of like Cannibal Holocaust and Serbian film, where it's almost nothing but nastiness from start to finish. Instead, we have a rather interesting and very suspense-filled thriller, all up until about the last 40 minutes, and then the movie goes completely bonkers, and we have a nasty, disgusting, batshit ending. Or rather, a nasty, batshit, like, last 40 minutes. So, yeah, I will happily admit that, yes, the first 40, or rather the last 40 minutes of this movie are very difficult to watch. However, though, everything else, leading up to it certainly does help, because it honestly does make that nasty, grueling final third a fantastic payoff. It really is. Because you are so absolutely immersed in the story, and you care so much about our lead, that all of a sudden, when everything literally goes tits up, all of a sudden you fucking care all that much more. And a lot of that has to do with the writing. The writing in this movie is just so absolutely fantastic. Guys, this thing is basically the sort of movie that Hitchcock would have made if Hitchcock, wanted to be a bit gorier than normal. This thing is kind of along those lines, just in terms of just exactly how chilling the story is, and how well it, how well it was written and paced out. This movie was amazing in that respect. The acting in this movie, I am not going to say that anyone in this film was bad. I mean, nobody here turned in a performance that I would say is shit. There were a couple of actresses in the actual audition montage that seemed to come off a little bit weaker than everybody else, but I have a feeling that was intentional, so I can't really, mark it as a negative. So yeah, guys, in that case, the acting here is great. Now, is the acting going to win an Oscar? God, no. Well, rather Golden Globe, or whatever the Japanese equivalent of the Oscar is. I'm not totally sure. The acting wasn't that good, but the acting was still really solid for what is here. Special effects. I would like to say right now that this movie is not, and I have to stress this movie is not an effects-heavy film. However, again, most of this is in, actually, if I'm not mistaken, all of this is in the last 40 minutes. All of that is done very, very well, what few things are there, which is basically like body parts being, cut off, or makeup effects to show, scarring, or missing fingers and shit like that. Looks really good, looks fantastic. So, yeah, again, what few effects are here are done very, very well. And that also includes the, makeup effects, such as, scars and, stitches and everything else. It all looks so absolutely realistic that it is going to turn your, stomach a little bit if you are in any way queasy. And if you are like me and you don't like the sight of needles, then the last about 15 minutes is going to just about make you throw the fuck up. Holy shit, was that ever hard to watch. Now, mind you, if you don't have a thing with needles, then you're probably not going to give a shit. However, if just the very sight of a needle makes you fucking cringe, then that fucking last 15 or 20 minutes is just going to be almost murder on you. I would like to talk about something, because this sort of goes back into writing. I should have covered this before. Excuse me. Again, in the last 40 minutes, the movie goes completely insane. There's a lot of stuff going on, and during this long run, we have characters swapping out and the scenery changing, but the dialogue isn't. It is just one of those scenes, or, well, like runs of scenes, that are intended solely to fuck with the viewer's head. And it does it very, very well. And unlike other films I've covered which have tried that and in my eyes failed, the reason why this one doesn't is because it didn't sacrifice the story just to be weird. Which I really wish that David fucking Lynch would have taken to heart when he made fucking Eraserhead. He basically sacrificed anything that could have passed as a plot to make a movie that was nothing but just weird and stupid bullshit for 90 minutes. This thing actually is able to do something similar, and it doesn't sacrifice the story, and it doesn't sacrifice anything else. It is, you know, there, and it does fuck with your head. And if anything, it actually is helping develop the characters even further, because it's showing you even more of the, you know, psychological bullshit going on with our two main characters, which is a fantastic way of doing it. I seriously do have to applaud them for that. So, yeah, guys, this movie, I would highly recommend it to everybody. Oh, wait, there is one minor negative, and this, guys, is barely a negative. It's only going to be a negative if it's something which is going to truly impact you, and that's to do with the picture quality. Again, I'm watching this on Netflix, so I'm going to assume that this is the best picture you can get for this. But the picture is really, really fuzzy, and I don't know why. I mean, the picture, there is seriously like no fucking like sharpness to anything, and it just kind of looks like a bad like 80s like print or something. And this also translates into the subtitles, which also are very, very, like fuzzy and soft edged, and it just doesn't look right. In fact, it actually almost looks fucking, you know, amateurish in some little way. So that honestly is something that I honestly was just sort of taken, you know, like back on. But however, though, even though it has that bizarre like image issue, it seriously was not enough to absolutely destroy the movie for me, and on top of that, you are going to get used to it after about the first 10 minutes, which is why it took me this long to finally fucking remember, oh yeah, I wanted to mention the picture quality. So yeah, beyond that though, everything else here is really good. The sound mix is fantastic, and the soundtrack is good. This movie, guys, is great if you are looking for an awesome psychological thriller, but minus the last 40 minutes, I cannot in any good like conscience call this thing a horror movie, because the first 2/3 of it are treating this less as a horror movie and much more as a psychological thriller. So you have to have that kind of a mindset going in, and you need to fully understand that things are going to get really fucked up really fast in the last third of the film. You have been warned. Now, if you have a Netflix account, I do highly recommend you go and you check out this movie. It is just fucking amazing. I loved every second of it. So, yeah, I seriously was not totally sure if I was going to like this, and god damn it, I love it. So, now I may have to just say, fuck, you know, watching it on Netflix again. I may have to go out and just buy it on fucking DVD, which is something I've wanted to do for a couple of years now, and I never did, and now I have a fucking reason to. So, yeah, guys, so this is it, guys. This here is the end of It Came from Netflix. I am probably going to do another one of these real soon, because I honestly kind of like, you know, like digging around in Netflix's mountain of movies and trying to pick out things to cover. This was fucking fun. So, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.